Peace, family. Welcome to the Melanated Elevation Podcast with your host, LaRue Hayru. Here in the frequency and vibration of love, peace, and harmony. Today's episode will be about the power of our brain and how it is considered to be a two-edged sword. This information is coming from the excerpt of the ebook, The Millennial Samurai. Your brain is a double-edged sword. Your brain has two sharp edges, one that can help you and one that can harm you. Our brain experiences life and collects information from our five senses: taste, touch, smell, sound, and sight. This information is what creates our thoughts, emotions, perspectives, and personalities. Our conscious mind plays a critical role in how we experience and respond to the world, although our subconscious mind exerts a huge amount of influence in our everyday life. Now, we receive approximately 11 bits of information per second, when in actuality, on average, our brain normally will be able to process up to 50 to 60 bits per second. Our most basic assumptions about ourselves and society are often based on information that we're not even consciously aware of, which could be linked to your intuition, your gut feeling, and things of that nature. The power of the brain. Our brain don't just experience the taste of wine or food, but it creates it. The taste created is influenced by a multitude of factors, such as the marketing, the price, the label, the brand, surroundings, music, and even who we're with. Memories are made up of a sum of personal beliefs, what we thought, and what we've been told. Our memories are often incomplete. We can't remember every single detail. In these instances, our subconscious may fill in the blanks, ultimately creating a combination of what we actually remember and what our brain creates to fill in those missing spaces. Research has shown that you can implant fake memories through conscious and unconscious suggestion. The unconscious brain makes the brain extremely susceptible to suggestion, a double-edged sword, right? Now, this is how it is considered to be a double-edged sword, and how our susceptibility, if not managed properly, can be of a detriment. So, for example, labeling children as gifted has been shown to be extremely powerful, self-fulfilling prophecy. It has also been shown that labeling a child as a poor learner has the same self-fulfilling effect. Music, colors, and textures have been shown to influence purchasing decisions in ways that we are not aware of, and this is called color psychology. And now these things and these practices are utilized on a daily basis, all of the time. Different colors evoke different emotions within the psyche of human beings, whether we realize it or not. So a lot of the times, what we feel that was the initial attraction or connection to a particular brand or product, a lot of the times it's not even of the product itself, let alone the movement itself, but how it was marketed to us. Even chemicals have the ability to influence our thoughts and actions, even in the absence of a conscious intellectual connection between the parties. Oxytocin, which is released during sexual intimacy, hugs, and casual touching, can lead to feelings of emotional closeness. It also fosters trust. In one study, participants who inhaled an oxytocin nasal spray were much more likely to show trust in their partners by investing more money with them. You get what I'm saying? The very nature of our brain means that we are highly susceptible to manipulation, misdirection, and control. Advertisers, companies, politicians, and governments are all aware of this though, and you should be as well. This cannot be emphasized enough. You must understand and protect yourself from your innate physiological sensitivity to disinformation and deception. This is accomplished by heightened awareness, inquiry, and attentiveness. You must be mindful of your brain's great strength, as well as its substantial susceptibility. To maximize your potential and minimize injury, you must view your brain as a two-edged sword. And this right here, right? Now, if you are familiar with the Hermetic principles, this actually can go into the principle of mentalism, right? The all is mind. The universe is mental. The universe is a mental creation of all subject to the law of created things, right? Our whole entire reality is created based on our perception of what reality is to us, right? So all of the experience we accumulated over, our journey in life. And also not only just the experience that we accumulated, but our perception of those experiences. You get what I mean? So, for example, there was a quick little story, right, where there were two sons and they had an alcoholic father. And one grew up to be very successful and the other one grew up to be an alcoholic just like his father. Now, they were both asked the same question. What is it that led you to be where you are today? And guess what both of them said? My dad was an alcoholic. Now, one was sober, he never drank, and he became very successful. And the other one, he decided to allow the traumas that he has experienced and accumulated over his lifetime to turn him into the example of what he experienced and what he has seen growing up, instead of allowing that to be the fuel to bring about a different reality for him like his brother did. You get what I'm saying? Now, these are two people who went through the same circumstances and had the same exact reason as to why they are where they are in life, even though they are in two completely different places, because the perception as far as to what that meant to them dictated how they acted about it. You get what I'm saying? So that right there is a clear example of how the brain can be a two-edged sword. The brother that became the drunkard or whatnot, has allowed his experiences to turn his brain against him and feed into those, quote unquote bad habits. While on the other hand, the other brother has exemplified that he's going to use that to wield his sword in his benefit. Again, to not harm him, nor to harm others. You get what I'm saying? Because that is something that we also need to pay attention to, because how we treat ourselves in return is also how we treat others, and how we carry ourselves carries itself into our relationships. So with that being said, it is very important to be mindful of where your mindset is, where your heart is, and your perception of reality, because mind you, we all can have different viewpoints, and who's to say any of us may not even be wrong, but a perception is not the full spectrum of truth of the reality that we are experiencing or viewing. I know you heard the saying that, what you focus on grows. So if a person focuses on problems, you get what I'm saying, then problems are going to continue to grow in their life, because there's always going to be something. It's always going to be something. Whether it's small or significant. The adversity is adversity isn't exempt from anybody. Now, the thing about it though, if a person chooses to focus on solutions or, are based in solution-based thinking, right, then their mindset is programmed to see the solutions to the problems that they may face or encounter. Now, with that being said, okay, cool. If, for example, if a person was having car troubles and maybe they went through some things in life, right? Just leading up to that, like let's just say all week they just been going through it, you know what I mean? Just things, not just dealing with a lot of inconvenience or just adversity throughout the week, so they're very stressed. Whether that's dealing with people, just tension at the workplace, certain opportunities may not, falling through at the specific time frame that they would like it to, right? And then now they dealing with some situations where they might be stuck in traffic or something, okay? Or they might have a flat tire, okay? Now this person decides to just get pissed off at the world, ask why me, not even realizing that during that time frame, instead of, playing the victim, because that is a victim mentality, that's a victim mindset. Instead of them beating themselves up even more on top of the things that they are going through, they could be utilizing that time in a more constructive manner, in a more proactive manner, in a more productive manner, right? By looking for the solutions to the said situations. So instead of a person just sitting on the road, maybe they're crying, maybe they're just angry, maybe they're just cussing out the universe because, nothing seems to go their way, you know what I'm saying? That's what I've been there before. But instead, why not just flip that switch and be like, you know what? Okay, what can I do about this? How can I get myself out of this situation? Okay, now your mind is going to start to think about ways to get you out of that situation because you're focusing on the solutions. What you focus on is what grows. You got to tell your mind you, we have about 6,200 thoughts that go through our mind on a daily basis. You have to tell your mind what it is that you want. You have to tell your mind what it is that you would like for it to prompt you. You get what I'm saying? So, okay, if I'm giving my mind suggestions to give me solutions, my mind is going to give me results based on the suggestion that I gave it. You get what I'm saying? So I gave it a positive suggestion. So now it's going to populate positive results that's aligned with that suggestion that I can utilize in whatever appropriate context. So with the situation with car troubles, I'm going to speak on a personal example that just happened not too long ago. It was recent, actually. So I was out door dashing, and I left the keys in the car, and I actually had the windows rolled up. So I dropped off the order, and when I got back to the car, the door was locked, and the keys was in the car, and the car was running. The car was running the whole time. So, I went around. I tried to open all of the doors. Nothing buzzed. All the doors was locked. So what I did. So first off, I've already been in situations where I've stressed out, where I've, said why me, and just when I was just being within that victim mentality or that mindset, just blaming the universe on things instead of me looking at it like, okay, what can I do about this? How can I get myself out of this situation? Because in all honesty, I grew to a certain awareness that I was really wasting time. I will really be wasting time to just stress about a situation. Because first off, stressing and worrying about it is not going to help. It's not going to get you out of it. And it's not going to promote any type of ideas that you can utilize, right? That'll help you, speaking from myself. So what I decided to do, I seen some people that was like a little bit up the street. I walked up to them. I asked them, if anybody can assist me. And his response was, I can't help you break into I can't help you break into no car, man. And it's like, it just so happened to be a melanated man that I was asking that. So I felt like he took that a type of way, and I kind of took it a type of way. Like, man, I ain't asking that. I just need assistance, bro. But if you ain't willing to, help me out, or you can't, then you could just say that, and it's all right. And so they mentioned AAA. Mind you, I didn't have AAA at the time, but I was aware that, they do come out and they assist you with any type of car trouble that you may have. So, I ended up calling my peoples and just letting them know, because I had to actually take one of them to work after, like, at a certain time. And, the time that happened was about 2 hours shy of when I would have to be there, just about. So I called, and then, they started to try to, like, instantly, they hopped into that negative mentality, that mindset, just, again, focusing on the problems, just regurgitating the problems, reiterating the situation in a negative fashion. I'm like, listen, before you even get into it, do not antagonize me I already understand the situation. I understand that there's things that, I already am aware of the problem, quote unquote, or the issue that needs to be handled. I didn't call you to emphasize that. I called you to be able to brainstorm on solutions on how we can, again, get past this and get through this. So if you're not if you're not willing to provide that or help me out with that, then I will be literally wasting my time talking to you right now, because I gotta figure out a solution to this as quick as possible. So the whole conversation shifted. I got off the phone, and then I ended up, setting up an account with AAA, becoming a member the same day. And, I called them and everything. So with that being said, I had to wait out there for about an hour. You know what I mean? I had to wait out there for an hour. I was calling some people. They didn't really answer at the time. And to be honest, I was a bit stressed, yes, but I didn't allow that to get a hold over me or take control over the decisions that I was making in the time. I decided to be proactive and think about the solutions, and then apply those solutions. And then once I was able to find them, take a hold of them, and then apply them, then that right there is when the rest of the night worked out beautifully, honestly, because I was sitting out there for about 2 hours. I was out there for about 45 minutes, just getting to the point to where I was able to call them and have them come out. And then I had to wait about another hour after that, just waiting on them to get from where they were to where I was at. So in that time frame, I had time to reflect, think to myself. Shit, I was even doing push-ups outside just because, I'm doing things that I can do that is helpful in whatever shape, form, or fashion, instead of stressing, instead of throwing temper tantrums, instead of just hitting on things. You know what I'm saying? So I'm laughing at the situation like, bro, like this would happen, of all, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, wow. And the thing about that, right now, as I was doing that, I was out there door dashing, and also, they was talking about that there was a $75 one-time fee, right, for if you had the assistance the same day that you created the membership. So I'm like, wow, okay. Well, I didn't have the whole 75, mind you. I was out door dashing, so I can utilize that money on something else. But when it came down to it, I had like $68 on my Cash App, and I had other money on my other card, but I couldn't even connect it to Cash App, let alone, switch the card or anything of that nature, because Cash App was down at the time. And it was still down by the time he showed up. Now, I was telling him, I was like, man, I don't know how, like, I'll be able to pay that fee for you, because my money's on Cash App, and Cash App is down right now, and I can't really add money to it at the moment. And I had enough, but not all in one place, and it was on the majority of that, like 95, 90, 97% of that was on Cash App, and Cash App was down. I couldn't utilize it. So, and he said, you know what, man, don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. It's all right. I'm not even going to do you like that. I'm not even going to charge you for that, man. You know what I'm saying? I get it, bro. And, there were some things that was going on that end. Like, it was people in my area that decided not to take the call. That decided not to pick up or help me out. And they were closer. He came from all the way from, like, 30, 40 minutes from where he was at. You get what I'm saying? And from another job or something like that he was on. But anyway, what led up to that moment, I said, you know what? I'm going to just call him anyway. I don't know, but I kept in mind it's going to work out. It's going to work out. I'm going to feel how I feel about it, but I know it's going to work out for me, because things typically do. You got to tell yourself this. When you put this type of energy out into the universe, it has this way of, assisting you. So in that moment, I'm like, wow, bro, I appreciate, like, bro, you don't really know how much it's mean to me, bro. I really appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, okay, well, look, I know Cash App is down right now, but if you give me yours, I'll send you a tip, man, when it's up and running again, bro. just because, you know what I'm saying, you really looked out for me, you really helped me out, and didn't charge me an arm and a leg, and, you know, allowed me to just go on about my day, man. And so he was like, yeah, bro, like, for sure, man, like, I appreciate that, for sure. You know, and guess what? I got back to the crib on time, actually at the exact time, maybe a minute or two before, right, that I originally was supposed to be there to be able to, you know, take my peoples to where they needed to go. So everything worked out perfectly. You feel me? Everything worked out perfectly. And now I have AAA that I can utilize for any future occurrences. You get what I'm saying? You know, in that moment, I had to wield my sword in my favor. And that is exactly what I did. And that was an exact example of how these things just have a way of working for you. But it all depends on your perception. Because other than that, you know, like, I could have just been stressing about the situation. Like, oh, like, well, what, like, why me? Like, what do I do? I don't even know. Like, what the woo. I probably wouldn't even, either I would have gotten to that conclusion later to utilize them, or, you know, I would have been stressing even more, because mind you, the car was running, so I had to be expeditious within my actions towards creating that solution. You get what I'm saying? So, yeah, you gotta just really understand the power of your mind, the power of your brain. All right, and a lot of the times it's subtle. It's not even as obvious because of how it works. Sometimes it's not immediate. Sometimes it's not even direct. So you just gotta understand, you know. And it's a level of trust that has to be implemented within that equation. You get what I'm saying? So it's trust, it's intention, and in conscious action. That is how we literally like create the, you know, or quote unquote manifest, right, the reality or the results that we want. You know, and a lot of times it may not show up in the exact packaging that you wanted to show up in or expected it to show up in and stuff like that, but best believe, you know, a gift is a gift nonetheless. And the gift to me in that moment, for me, just maintaining, you know, a solution-based mindset, and also preventative maintenance is another thing. You know, I kept track of what put me in that situation so that I know not to repeat those same steps to be in that situation in you know what I'm saying, in the future. So now I know how to prevent me from being in that circumstance. You get what I'm saying? And that's another thing. Don't beat yourself up over the mistakes that you made in life. Inspect those mistakes, right? Dissect it. Become aware of what allowed them to happen. What were the factors that you were able to control and still can't control? And then put your focus on those factors as far as what you were able to do or even not do, right? To not repeat those same mistakes. And it's really just that simple, you know, in black and white as far as how it's said, although sometimes it's harder to apply or it takes time to adjust because we're going against old programming of, you know, our habits, whether that's ways of thinking, ways of being, you know, or ways of responding, things of that nature. So and what helps with that is realizing that your brain is a double-edged sword. You're either working for you or against you. It's really no in between. The only in between is that you're working for your benefit some of the time and you're working towards your detriment the other half of the time. And that's not a good place to be in. So learn how to wield your sword. Learn how to utilize it to where you can use it in your favor, help you and help others fight through adversity. On that note, it's been my pleasure. It's your host, Leroux on the Melanated Elevation Podcast, and I end this transmission with peace and love and light. Ashe.